Well, hi there everyone and welcome to my channel. Today's recipe is for another meal in a jar. This one is for taco soup, and I thought I would just show y'all my assembly line process for making these into gifts. First of all, I just get out my jars. I'm using quart jars here, and I have canning funnels. I always get out all my cans of food as well as the seasonings that I need to put into the jars. And then I have some measuring cups and measuring spoons. And of course, you want to get out your recipe so you know what to put into the jar. The idea is you put the same ingredient into each one of the jars before you move on to the next ingredient. So here in my quart jars, I am putting a cup of our ground beef that I have blitzed in the blender because that's just the texture that I prefer, a little bit smaller texture than the pellets or the little nuggets that it comes in. And then after that, I move on to some green chilies. I love Thrive Life green chili peppers, and you probably know that if you have watched my channel very much. I put our green chili peppers into lots of my recipes. They're not necessarily very spicy, but they are full of flavor. Next is going to be some green bell peppers, and I sort of just did a green layer here, and then I'll do a red layer in just a moment. Here we have a tablespoon of our green onions, followed by cilantro. And I hope I've mentioned this before, but if you ever don't like any of these spices, just eliminate them, just leave them out. Also, we've got a half a teaspoon of oregano. I use oregano because it is in a typical taco seasoning mix. Next, we've got a half a cup of our tomato dices. Also, some of our red bell peppers. I love the mix of the red and the green bell peppers. I think our bell peppers have fantastic flavor. I like to eat them straight out of the can sometimes. Next, we've got 2 tablespoons of our chopped onions. Thrive Life chopped onions are a tiny dice, which I love because it packs a lot of flavor and not a lot of space. Here's our garlic. Freeze-dried garlic is wonderful. All right, here I go with some of our spices. I've got a tablespoon of chili powder. And then there's a tablespoon of cumin as well. These spices are just the typical spices that are in a taco seasoning blend. You know, those little envelopes of seasoning packets that you can get at the grocery store? That's what I'm talking about. If you bought a taco seasoning packet, it would probably have chili powder, cumin, paprika, garlic powder, oregano, salt, pepper, all those things in it. I realize I'm kind of erratic here as I'm filling up my jars. Ideally, you would want to do them all in the same order, but I was talking to my daughter and letting my dog in and out. Our Chef's Choice from Thrive Life is just an all-purpose seasoning blend. Our beef bouillon is delicious. It's actually a vegetarian blend. I don't even know how they do that, but it does taste like a beef bouillon. They use lots of different veggies in it. And it might seem like this is a lot of seasoning, but let me tell you, it is a wonderful flavor in the end product because you're going to add 6 cups of water to this. Your broth is going to be very flavorful because of all of these seasonings that you're including. You'll end up with something that's like a fiesta in your mouth. It's loaded with spice, not necessarily heat spicy, but flavor spicy. Our tomato powder is fantastic. The only ingredient in it is tomatoes. Now, when I was eating this taco soup recipe in Abilene, Texas, when I was in my early 20s, we did not put sour cream powder or a cheese sauce powder in the soup. I have recently added that to my recipe. I don't even think I liked sour cream when I was in college. I love it now. And I think it lends a yummy creaminess to the soup. I think it's fantastic in this recipe. All right, next I am adding black beans. Our black beans are par cooked or partially cooked. They're most of the way cooked, so they're instant black beans, and they will refresh in about 15 or 20 minutes of simmering. The corn in here is wonderful. Don't skimp on that corn. The sweetness from the corn will balance out the spice in the rest of the soup. I'm using pepper jack here. If you don't have pepper jack, you could put cheddar in there, or you could just add freshly grated cheese to the soup as well. Give it a shake or a little pat down, a twist, shake, and see if you can make a little bit more room at the top of your jar. If so, you could add some more of the corn. I think I only got 1/4 of a cup in the first time around, and then I'll come back and add some more in there. Try to get, close to 1/2 cup or so of the sweet corn in there, just because it's a wonderful flavor and it really does round out the soup. Also, cayenne pepper and red pepper flakes. Highly recommend if you like a little bit of heat. Of course, that's optional. There are your oxygen absorbers and then the lids and rings. So this is what you're storing on your pantry shelf or what you're giving away as a gift. I'm going to probably give these to family members. I have Christmas gifts on the brain right now, and I think that's what I'm giving this year is some homemade soup mixes. I mean, who doesn't like a homemade gift, right? I think it's a very thoughtful thing to do for the ones that you love. So you would include these cooking instructions on the gift tag or whatever you give with this gift. When you're ready to prepare it, you'll just get out a medium saucepan. Of course, remove that oxygen absorber and then just empty the entire jar into the saucepan. And then you're going to add 6 cups of water. This quart size jar is going to give you 4 servings of soup. The pint would give you 2. And that's all you have to add. It's very simple. This is a just add water recipe. And as you stir these ingredients, you'll notice that freeze-dried foods, they don't necessarily want to absorb water at the beginning. So you just have to kind of be patient with them. At first, it seems like they have the texture of like a packing peanut or something styrofoam. Yeah, they're kind of a strange texture. But once they do absorb the water and you start to simmer them, they will cook up just like fresh food. It's pretty amazing. I say that a lot, but I'm constantly amazed at the quality, the flavor, and just the value of our food. It's nutritious and delicious. So after you simmer that for about 20 minutes, you'll need to give it a taste test. I ended up adding just a little bit of salt. I think I added some red pepper flakes and some cayenne as well. I just didn't get it on camera. But definitely test those beans. Make sure the black beans are tender. They should be tender after about 15 or 20 minutes, but you just want to make sure. If not, simmer them for another 5 minutes or so. Okay, it should be ready to serve at that point. And you have lots of options for toppings. You could put some fresh grated cheese on here. I like it with the tortilla strips, some sour cream, and avocado. Anything fresh that you add will enhance the flavors. I think if you have some fresh tomatoes or some salsa, cilantro, I do recommend a wedge of lime. I think a little squeeze of lime juice would be amazing here. But there you go. There it is, our taco soup. It is so tasty. My husband raved about this recipe. He loved it. And see, it does thicken up a bit as it sits. I think y'all are going to really enjoy this one. Okay guys, thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you for the comments and the likes and the subscribes, and thanks for clicking on my shopping link. Everything you do like that really helps my channel. And like always, I'll include the full recipe in the description box below. I'll include both the quart size recipe and the pint size recipe. And until next time, y'all take care and keep thriving.